Hello and welcome to the second episode of San Giovanni Battista build. Today we'll be working on the second planking of the transom. Out of the old planking steps, this one has always scared me the most. All because of the pattern. Straight planking on top, a chevron joint below with a narrow strip of the blank space in between. And it all needs to be neat and symmetrical. And let's just say, the magazine instructions are not exactly a huge help here. Oh, almost forgot. There we go. And let's get started. Okay, let's start with the easy part, the top of the transom, where the planks are simply laid side by side in parallel rows. Firstly, I cut the linear strips in half to make them a little bit easier to work with. The surface of the transom was already prepared in the previous episode, so we are ready to start gluing planks in place. It was only during editing that I noticed that one of the planks was quite a different shade from the rest. There is definitely some charm to that, but I still can't shake the feeling that I just grabbed the wrong strip. Well, I guess we find out later, and I wonder if you can spot it too. Please leave your guess in the comments. Let's keep going. I decided to pre-cut all the planks for the bottom part of the transom, just to ensure that everything matches perfectly. The first idea that came to my mind was to make a template of the lower section, mark the position of each plank, and then simply cut everything according to it. Sounds easy. Okay, now for my favorite part. Let's put this puzzle together. Something is definitely off. Maybe I just missed a plank? Well, clearly I still need to work on my marking skills. Let's try a different approach. Technically, what I need is a clean T-shaped joint where the upper and lower sections of the transom meet. So why not use this handy grid on my cutting mat? I can line the planks up at the correct angle, secure them in place, and then simply trim them to the exact shape I need, which is basically what I should have done in the first attempt. But hey, fixing your own mistakes is also part of the fun, right? Let's do the same for the opposite side. And voila! The dividing line between the two sections runs right along the two holes in the transom. Luckily, they perfectly line up with the width of the planks I used for the first layer, and there are plenty of them left, so they would be a perfect material for the guide between the lower and upper part of the transom. It should give me a nice straight edge to work against, so I won't have to trim the planks directly on the model afterwards. Fits like a glove. Alright, now I can finally start gluing the planks in place. Before that, off camera I drew a vertical center line to divide the lower section into symmetrical hulls. The first two planks turn out to be the trickiest part. The problem is that most of each plank lands right out of the central hole in the transom, leaving only a narrow strip about 3 mm wide to actually glue onto. I spent a solid 10 minutes just getting that first plank position correctly. I finished the entire left side first and then moved on to the right. In theory, that side should have been easier. But of course, there had to be a surprise. Even though the planks were perfectly symmetrical after I cut them, the right side somehow drifted slightly out of alignment while I was gluing it down. Maybe instead I should have worked on the both sides at the same time, alternating between the layers as I went. That could help me keep the pattern symmetrical. Anyway, I still think it turned out not that bad for a first attempt. Once glue has dried, it is time to bring everything to its final look, trim the planks and recut the transom holes. By the way, that little guide worked surprisingly well. So grab the tool, mark the hole locations and start drilling. The original plan was simple. Do most of the work with the rotary tool and just clean up the edges afterwards. As it turned out, the planks were a little too thin for that, so I had to switch back to blades and files. Luckily there was no real damage done. But even then things didn't exactly go smoothly. A couple of planks did get torn off. Nothing that couldn't be fixed. But anyway, since there is a lot more of these coming up in the build, I would generally like to hear your tips. The openings are done, and now I can move on to the final shaping, sanding and cleanup. Naturally, only after I had finished the planking I finally figured out why this area was supposed to be left unplanked. Apparently, this is where the stern balcony will eventually go. And to be honest, I don't think that's the best possible option. But we'll see. The stern balcony is still quite a long way off. So that's all for today. Next time we'll move to the bow and start working on the front section of the ship. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.